Ripple, we're thinking much bigger than just cross-border payments. It's kind of like Amazon with rare books in the early days, just this market happens to be a $10 trillion market.
We are at a historic turning point.
Said in the past that you are doing for money what email did for communication.
Moving the whole revolution forward.
Take on it.
There's trillions of dollars parked around the world.
XRP. Is there a possibility that Ripple could take over Swift one day?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of 24 Hours Script. Let's get right into today's video. They know it. They all know it. And in today's episode, you are going to see how long this has been in the making for. I made a video about 2 years ago, and the accuracy of this video is just jaw-dropping. We talked about Mr. Craig Phillips. Okay, Craig Phillips was with Ripple, and then he magically disappeared. But keep in mind, he was the managing director at BlackRock. He was also within the U.S. Department of Treasury. He also worked at Morgan Stanley for 12 years. And he was working indirectly with Donald Trump. And you're going to see that in today's document. And everything was mapped out. Trump left, and then he came back, just like we all predicted would happen. And then the adoption of crypto will continue. But they did this on purpose, and the information that we are going to lay out in today's episode, like I said, XRP was at 69 cents at the time of recording, but the information that was rallied on, and also keep in mind, less than 7,000 people saw this video. Less than 7,000 people saw this video. This is when I had maybe less than 60,000 subscribers. Okay, so we have gone up significantly since then, but ladies and gentlemen, if you find this video valuable, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and let's get right into the video. Eric Trump is very, very bullish on crypto. And the fact that he comes out and says this publicly.
Our financial system is so dishonest. It is so incredibly dishonest. And I would love nothing more than to see blockchain replace so many of these institutions that have been so punitive to so many people. Let me give you one other secret. The people in our financial system who have always had the advantage are guys like us, right? Powerful companies with famous last names, with a lot of zeros on their balance sheet. They have been the worst for the average retail consumer who doesn't stand a chance against a traditional financial system. They have no leverage, they have no negotiation power, and they get feed to death. Crypto solves all of that. Blockchain solves all of that. There is nothing that can't be done on blockchain that JP Morgan Chase can do, that Bank of America, that can't be done better, faster, cheaper, and more transparently. And I think that's a wonderful thing for humanity. I think that's a wonderful thing for the people of our country. And I think that's a wonderful thing in putting real checks and balances on the very people who weaponize the financial system against people that they did.
I mean, he just exposed everything. Trump's son just told you exactly how they keep everybody poor. And now crypto at ground zero, people have an opportunity right now, but many are going to miss out on this opportunity. Before I get into the details of Craig Phillips, take a listen to what he said when he was working with Trump. I want to set the tone with the clips and so you guys get an idea of who this man is. You guys see him, talking. And very important, listen very carefully to the stuff that he's saying here. And keep in mind, he was with Ripple. Okay, he was alongside Ripple and the journey. And this is what he was saying back in 2017. And also, look where we have come. Look how far we have come since this information. It's just truly remarkable, ladies and gentlemen.
There might be other approaches, but really definitely having entities that are subject to regulation by 50 states and they're pursuing a virtual internet-enabled practice seems very challenging, and that could impact negatively blockchain and digital assets as well. And also just, again, the modernization of the framework of allow. It's very obvious that if you have a sort of a brand new thing, the existing regulation doesn't fit it. And if there's multiple regulators with an overlapping mandate, it's critical that we find a way for those regulators to inherently allow safe experimentation on new concepts, agree for periods of proof of concept, and sort of lay out a path how those innovations can be adapted. So just very briefly, and I know some of you probably heard this, the President put out an executive order on the financial services system and set out core principles. So we've done a tremendous amount of work publishing 4 reports on banks, asset management, insurance, capital markets, and lastly on non-bank financials and fintech. And while we didn't grapple extensively with blockchain, the message from the 4th report was that we support innovation. It's important to the U.S. economy. The U.S. can and is a leader in it, and that it presents a tremendous opportunity of change for the U.S. economy. With that change comes some threat and unknown, but we think it's a tremendous opportunity where we have U.S. dominance. Secondly, the digitization of finance is here, and there's a tremendous amount of data that can now be collected, can be used to the advantages of business and consumers in not only rendering financial services, but also having a stronger regulatory environment. The concept of RegTech suggests that regulators will use data better, and that presents an opportunity. First of all, there's almost an infinite amount of capital. There might be more capital than there are good ideas. You know, we've all seen the number of startups, and obviously the U.S. has a dominant home in not only raising that capital, but attracting investment capital. So that's a blessing. And some of the companies that are established companies in this are some of the largest market caps in the world and are very U.S. oriented in terms of their domination. And lastly, the nature of connectivity, the preference for connectivity, the proliferation of mobile devices is not slowing down.
Something went unnoticed, and that is the leadership in Ripple that I need to bring to your attention. There's an individual by the name of Mr. Craig Phillips that has departed Ripple, and nothing's been said about it. Mr. Craig Phillips joins Ripple Board of Directors back in 2019. Craig brings more than 35 years of industry expertise to Ripple, having held leadership roles at Morgan Stanley and BlackRock. Most recently, Craig served as a counselor to Secretary of the Treasury Steven Mnuchin, where he oversaw regulatory framework development for the financial system under Executive 13772. Why did he come to Ripple? Wait until you see this. Executive Order 13772, core principles for regulating the United States of financial system. And this was signed off in 2017 when Donald Trump was in office. And what are the odds that Donald Trump is going to win this year? He's coming back to the office and he's starting pretty much where he left off with the whole regulating the financial system. Things are going to get crazy because when we go into the executive order, a financial system that creates economic opportunities, U.S. Department of Treasury. Look at the table of contents here. Embracing digitization, data, and technology. Aligning the regulatory framework to promote innovation. This sounds like someone that was saying the same thing just last year, and that man is Mr. Michael Barr.
Let me say a bit more about how innovation plays into this goal of making the financial system fairer. We should welcome financial innovation as a positive force that can increase access and lower costs for individuals and for businesses. I also want to be clear at the same time, Michael, it's important for us not to set up a regulatory environment that stifles innovation. Innovation is really critical to the financial sector. It's critical to the American economy.
And Mr. Barr was also a part of Ripple. Wow, folks, come on. Come on. How do you not see the bigger picture of what's about to happen right now? They're all in this together. And even on this PDF, Ripple is mentioned along with R3. There's really nothing much more information that we could provide to you if you don't understand where this is going. But now this is where things are going to get very interesting. So Michael Barr, which we talked about, is the vice chair at the Federal Reserve. And he's working with Jerome Powell. And remember what I said, they're all in this together. Now, this clip from Jerome Powell goes hand in hand with the closed door meetings that are taking place right now.
The potentially fast and wide adoption of a global stablecoin, potentially a global currency governed only by the incentives of a private company, is something that will deserve and will receive the highest level of regulatory expectations and will receive the highest level of regulatory expectations.
So now ask yourself why Ripple and XRP were sued And now we have the highest regulatory standards within the crypto ecosystem. Do you see this spider web of a scheme that just happened with Craig Phillips regulating financial systems, coming on to Ripple, Michael Barr coming on to Ripple, Craig Phillips leaving, Donald Trump coming back into the office with this executive order back in 2000? Like, come on. If you guys are a little bit confused, I would just rewatch the video. Go watch Michael Barr, what he was talking about. It aligns perfectly with the table of contents. We cannot stifle innovation. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that gave you guys a clearer picture of just how big Ripple and XRP is and why we are pretty much at ground zero. We have witnessed absolutely nothing yet. Let's go over the trades that we were talking about in yesterday's episode. Remember, we talked about that 4-hour candle that needs to close in the green. It did. And then guess what? It went sideways for the next hours ahead. And now we are currently at $2.23 with a significant jump up. Okay, we came down to $2.14. And remember, the $2.14 was the number that we had to pierce through. And now it's playing support. And we also have a couple over, let's go over these trades. If you guys want to take advantage of the deposit bonuses, the links are in the description down below. But if you also want to dabble with, leverage trading, try demo trading first. Before you do anything, try demo trading, but proceed with caution, whatever you do. But they do have 2-bit, a demo trading panel where you could go ahead and use that. But we do have the trades open. Not sure why it's just giving me my USDC trade. Let's go ahead and go to USDT because we have our Ondo trade open. We have a Solana trade open, and we have our XRP trade open, and we also have the trade open on to Bitunix. We also have a trade open on Bitunix. It looks like it disappeared on me right now, but I'll bring that back up. But take advantage of the deposit bonus for Bitunix and 2bit. Okay, I can't trade 2 positions for XRP, so that's why we are on 2 platforms currently. But these markets on the cusp of a major move heading into a weekend. So let's see. This could be a dead cat bounce. So it's very close. It's very important for you to keep a close eye on these charts. Okay, and here's the other trade that we have on Bitunix. We have an entry of $1.96. That's currently up 400%. I might shave off. Again, keep in mind, my leverage trading is based off of not large margins. Okay, $460, $484, $409, and then the 125x that you saw was with, I'll tell you right now, give me one moment. This was actually very, very, again, when I'm going in with high leverage, first of all, it doesn't give you an option to put a lot of capital up front because they're not going to make you just rinse all your money. But this is a $171 margin right now that we opened. Like I said, as soon as I saw the market had a promising bounce, we got in. So take advantage of the deposit bonuses for 2bit and Bitunix. The links are in the description down below. If you deposit $2,000, you have a $200 trial fund that you could be trading with and taking home the profit. And if you're not comfortable with the $2,000, withdraw it. Deposit $10,000, you get a $1,000 trial fund. Any profits, again, you withdraw. And if you're not feel comfortable with the $10,000, just withdraw it. But wait until you get the bonus first for you to use it, or go ahead and take advantage of their demo trading where you could be at nothing up front. There's absolutely nothing, just practice in the markets. Go watch some trading videos. I will do an in-depth video for trading, but we have a lot on the pipelines right now, a lot of behind the scenes actions with a lot of news that some of you guys don't know yet, but you guys will hear them soon. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I do appreciate every single one of you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Remember, we are at ground zero. We have seen absolutely nothing yet. I want to make that very clear to you all. Okay? I want to make that very clear to you all. We have not seen anything. Nothing. If you're happy with these prices, I'm happy for you. But you're about to go mentally insane when you actually see what's about to happen in this crypto ecosystem. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with another video.
The thing with these assets, though, is they always follow a hockey stick curve. As long as a specific asset class actually starts moving on-chain wholesale and you get true hockey stick adoption.
woke up this morning, check my bags on the chain. XRPL still humming while the FUD folks complain. Ripple fighting Goliath, yeah, the SSA's game. But Johnny D and Hogan, they're bringing the flame. So we salute to the rebels in suits, to the coders and hodlers wearing dusty old boots. Raise a toast to the ledger and the lawyers who bite, while taco stand dumps through the middle of the night. Damn, Jed, can you chill? Brad G's on the mic saying clarity now, while Shorts codes the stars with the hologram cow watch. The haters keep chirping, but the people ain't blind. This ain't some mean dream, it's the internet spine. Regulators stalling, but the clock's ticking fast. Ripple drops the case like a baseline blast. Communities united from Twitter to the street. We meme through the madness and never admit defeat. Yeah, we salute to the devs and the geeks, to the ledger that clears in seconds, not weeks. To D, to Hogan, to legal delight, and the salty old taco that just loves to spite. Hey Jed, you done yet? Or you got another dump scheduled for lunch? So here's to the warriors, the freaks, and the fans, waving salute tokens like battle flags in hand. It ain't just about coins, it's a movement, a pact. We defend what we build, and we're taking it back. Come on, salute to the ones in the fight, to the token that laughs in regulatory spite, to Schwartz, Brad, and the ones still believing, even while taco stands always leaving. One for XRP, and raise your guitar for decentralized dreams. This song's for the ledger, the truth and the proof. With a smile and a nod, we say salute.
The predictions that failed most miserably, the Bitcoin and blockchain. So
we started building RippleNet with the thesis that crypto liquidity would eventually be able to support robust global payments, large payments. RippleNet was designed so that customers seeing the benefits of our fiat-based network could flip the switch to ODL once the market was mature enough. And this is exactly what's happening. Flip the switch.
I think what we're building has, it's solving a real problem. And I think all of the tokens, my advice to anybody would be, understand the utility. If there's real utility and there's real value being delivered to a real customer, there will be value in the token.